right, beloved Madridistas, welcome back to Madrid. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, let me give you a few thoughts. We'll keep this video short. I just want to give you my thoughts on yesterday's match. And I don't know, I think, this was a kind of chaotic, lackluster performance. I really don't know if there's too much to take out of it. I think we're all so focused on the Arsenal match that this is something we just had to get through, and we did. But we did so in a, typically unconvincing manner. This match ended up kind of chaotic. 10 versus 10 is always turns into a sort of, back and forth, very, very chaotic match and very difficult to draw any kind of conclusions. I think the most positive things are the 3 points, the fact that it's behind us with no additional injuries. The problem, of course, was Kylian's red card. But again, this was just something we had to get through so we can start focusing on the Arsenal return leg. But anyway, let me give my thoughts on the match yesterday. Thanks for joining me. We'll try to keep it quick. Let's get started. Madridistas, welcome back. Let me give you my thoughts on the match yesterday, and we'll do it quickly because there isn't that much to dwell on in this one. In terms of, let's look at the lineup first. Carlos' intention here, by the way, he wasn't on the bench. He was sanctioned, so his son Davide had to take over. He rested Vini and Jude, which I think makes sense considering the importance of the match against Arsenal. Of course, later in the match he had to bring him out because we were in terrible shape. But this was the lineup. You had Courtois in goal, Lucas Vázquez on the right, Fran on the left, Asensio, Rudiger in the middle of defense. In the middle of the pitch you had Tchouaméni, not something we see very often, but Tchouaméni and Camavinga playing together with Fede. That was the midfield. And then up front you had Rodrigo, this time on the left, which actually is his preferred position, Arda Güler on the right, and Kylian in the middle. So the lineup was not terribly shocking, and it made sense to rest, or to try to rest, Vini and Jude. I thought Fede maybe would have been rested as well. I was a little bit surprised that they didn't. In terms of the match itself, look, the first half, it started the way we always start. So the first 15 minutes are terrible. We can't touch the ball. If we do touch it, we lose it immediately. The other team is in possession, and we're on the back foot. This is literally the blueprint for every single match this year. This is the way Real Madrid starts matches, always on the back foot, always slow, and always asleep. The only time, so we finally started getting possession of the ball around the 14th minute, and it actually, for the first time, it took 14 whole minutes for us to actually be in possession, pass the ball around, move our lines up, and look like we actually want to play in this match. So we started getting possession around the 14th minute. Now in the 18th minute, well, we had the goal by Asensio that was called off. And I got to be honest, I don't understand this. I saw the replay a few times, and to me, it looks like their goalkeeper is backtracking. He's starting to walk backwards. And in the process of taking a couple of steps back, he trips over Rudiger's feet. Now, that's not a foul. Unless Rudiger chops his legs off, Rudiger has feet, and if somebody trips over them without Rudiger doing anything, I don't know how on earth that penalty was called off, but it's a shame because it was a goal. It would have been Asensio, and I think it would have been a great boost of morale for him. But in any case, the goal was called off for reasons that remain mysterious to me. In the 33rd goal, we had the goal from Camavinga. This was a really good play by Arda, and a wonderfully weighted, beautiful kind of quick passing by Arda Güler. Camavinga saw the gap and delivered a wonderful strike. He does have a wonderful left foot. He's tried shots in the past. Usually they don't work out too well. But this one was just laser accurate. This was a wonderful shot by Cama, who, by the way, had a fantastic match. So we go 0-1 up, and then only 4 minutes later, we have the red card on Kylian. And this What can I say? This was a clear red card. This was a brutal foul. I mean, you can break someone's leg doing this. It was a very justifiable red card. I don't know what got into Kylian. I don't know why. I know that they had fouled him a hell of a lot up to that point, and I understand the frustration when you get fouled over and over. You get frustrated, but I think at this level you need to control your temper and you need to be able to get past these things. But that reaction was completely out of place, a well-deserved red card. And now we have to wait and see what the ban is, because if he gets the full 4-game sanction, the 4-game full ban for a challenge like this, he wouldn't be able to play the final of the Copa del Rey. We have to pray that they only ban him for 2 or 3 matches and not 4. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that. This was just a lapse of concentration. I don't understand at this level how players can't just keep their cool. Obviously, people are going to try to provoke you, foul you, etc., but you have to keep it together because the stakes are too high. So an inexplicable reaction by Kylian that was just incredibly disappointing. Now, after the red card, when you're playing with a man down, there's nothing you can do. It's just scrambling and defending. The second half kind of continued along those lines. Real Madrid scrambling, defending with one man too few. When we recovered the ball, we were just unable to do anything at all with it. In the 61st minute, we had the first changes. We had Bini and Jude come on the pitch. Arda and Rodrigo came off. And then in the 69th minute, we had the red card that evened things up again. Now, this was a tackle that was not dissimilar to Kylian's, right around the shin area, above the ankle with the studs. These are very, very dangerous tackles, and I'm surprised that more bones don't get broken. But that was, again, I think a very clear red card and no discussion about it. And then when you're playing 10 men against 10 men, it's actually quite entertaining because there's so much space. The game becomes completely broken. You basically just start seeing a match that's attacking on one end and attacking on the other end, like the midfield disappears. It is kind of exciting, chaotic, but exciting. But at that point, you felt that when it was 10 versus 10, Real Madrid started to take over again. We had more of the ball, created more chances, and we started to look more dangerous. And the difference qualitatively between the players of the two sides started to shine and come through. So once it was 10 versus 10, I think we started to really lift our game, and we looked like the better side. In the 75th minute, Fran came off and Brahim came in. Again, the back and forth continued for the rest of the match. And in those final minutes, we had some really good chances. We had a 3-on-2, a 2-on-1. I was actually very disappointed we didn't finish those chances because they were quite obvious. I mean, we had 2 or 3 counters where we really should have scored. We had a man advantage in the counter, and I don't understand how we didn't score. In the 91st minute, Fede came off and Ceballos came in. Very good news that Fede made it through the match without getting injured because he's mission critical. Ceballos came in, and it was wonderful to see him on the pitch again because he's been so instrumental this year, and he made a great contribution. It's really good news to have him back, believe me, because the squad is so thin. In terms of takeaways and players, I don't know what to tell you. There's nothing really to take out of this match except that we played terribly, especially at the beginning of matches. We scrambled and scraped and managed to take a victory out of this. The best things coming out of this match are that there were no injuries and we took 3 points, but that's about it. It's very, very, there's very little else that we can certainly very little else positive that we can take out of this other than the points and the lack of injuries. We're all thinking about the Arsenal match. The tension level's rising here. It's a Herculean task, what we're asking them to do on Wednesday. But this city always believes, and this city is going to put on a hell of a show. I'll be at the stadium, and I'll get you guys some images of the atmosphere in my post-match video. But we're all thinking about that match, and the tension is building. One thing I just want to mention before we get to players, the refs were terrible. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there were so many little fouls against Real Madrid players that weren't called. I mean, sometimes like consecutive fouls. There were so many fouls that the ref just let play. And then I also noticed that, if the other team, if you so much as touch anyone, they go to ground. And I think the rest of the league has learned that when you play at Real Madrid, the refs are going to give you everything. So I think all the other teams know that all you have to do is go to ground. If you feel any kind of contact at all, just go to ground, and the ref is going to give you the call. And it felt to me like any little thing we did was a foul. but it felt to me like continuous fouls against us were just totally ignored. Even, and the goalkeeper wasting time when they were up 1-0. I mean, it's incredible to me how the rules don't apply the same to different teams. The other day in a home game, I can't remember who was with, I think the Valencia match, when their goalkeeper was wasting time over and over and over and over, the ref just let him get away with it 15 times in a row. In this case, Courtois was 2 seconds too late putting the ball into play. He gets a yellow. It's just very strange to me, but the refereeing looked very, very polluted to me, but that's not new. Okay, in terms of players, very quickly, look, I think Courtois had a pretty good game. He had a couple of reflex saves that were good. He looked fairly comfortable and commanding in the air. We don't have a lot to judge him on, but I think he looked solid every time the ball got near him. Lucas Vázquez, we've been pissing on him all season. I thought he was actually okay last night. I think he played okay. He defended pretty well. I saw him win some challenges one-on-one. I saw him steal a few balls. Lucas Vázquez actually had a reasonable match, and it's really good to see because he's had a very difficult season, and we've been all over him. So I'm glad to report that I don't really have too many criticisms of him last night, which is refreshing and good to say. Now, Fran actually I think was a little bit worse. Most of the attacking came on his side for whatever reason, but I did think that he struggled defensively, and he never really seemed to make an impact going forward. Fran runs a lot. He always gives a lot, but I think yesterday he wasn't particularly effective, and even defensively he looked a little bit weak. Rudiger had an okay match. Nothing to write home about. Defending, I think he did quite well, and he was the consistent defender that he always is. Some of his long passing was a bit sloppy, and he needs to work more on that because, I understand that the long ball is a good surprise, and we need to use that. But some of it was so sloppy yesterday. I mean, even if the idea is good, the execution has to be good. And some of his long passing was pretty crappy. So I think defensively okay, but very sloppy in distribution. Asensio was the best of the defenders. No surprise, that seems to be the case almost in every match these days. But he was very quick, very aggressive. There were some very critical tackles when other players looked like they were getting away and about to be in a one-on-one situation with Courtois. He would catch up and make kind of critical tackles. So I think Asensio looked very quick and very aggressive, just solid as always. I think he was our best defender. Tchouaméni was really good, I thought, yesterday in that pivot position. And it's I was thinking to myself, ever since he got whistled in the Bernabeu, he started playing a lot better. And I don't know, I think I don't know. These whistles are really mean, but sometimes they work because I think Tchouaméni is playing better football since he that horrendous match in the Bernabeu where he was getting whistles. But I think he played well yesterday. He recovered a lot of balls. When he had to mix in with the defenders to protect aerial balls, he did that very well as well. His transition distribution was not bad when we had it. But I think Tchouaméni was fairly solid yesterday. Camavinga, I think, was man of the match. I mean, he's a very chaotic player, and I admit that Camavinga seems very haphazard sometimes. He just kind of seems like he's all over the place. So he is a little bit unpredictable. He's a bit of a kind of, there's something wild there, but I think he played very well yesterday because he carried the ball when he needed to. He distributed quickly when he needed to. He knew when to come back deep and defend. I think Camavinga was sort of very, very present in all aspects of play, and he scored a wonderful goal. I think Camavinga had a great match. I think he was man of the match for me. I think had a really good, and it was great to see him back because he's a player I've always really, really liked, and it's good to see him back in good form. Fede, another one of his kind of quiet but solid performances. 1 to 10, you'd probably give him a 6 or a 7. I think he got better as the match went on. I think in those first 15 minutes, everybody was poor, but he got a little bit better as the match went on. Even had a couple of shots on goal that could have been threatening. So I think Fede played his typical solid match, and again, very happy that he finished it without getting injured. I'm always worried about Fede getting injured. Arda Güler, Arda played well. I think, in the first 15 minutes, I think everybody was crap. But as the game went on, he started to really get into play. His distribution was good. He's a player that's very good when you want to control the ball and control possession. He's very good. He doesn't lose the ball that often. His decision making is good. He doesn't take that many risks with the ball. His contribution to the play and the goal was very, very good. In Camavinga's goal, I think it was kind of a shame to see him come off because I think he was having a reasonable game. So I think Arda played a solid match. Kylian, what can I say? He only played 15 minutes or 19 or whatever it was. Looks very sharp and quick, and he always looks like he's ready to sprint. He always looks dangerous because he's so skillful and so quick. But he wasn't able to pull anything off. He wasn't able to get the balls. He was very isolated up front in that position. He felt very alone all the time. And they fouled him a lot. And I guess he just lost his mind and then made a really, really silly mistake. But Kylian, very hard to judge him. The minute he was on the pitch, he tried but didn't accomplish much. And then he lost his head, and that's just not acceptable at this level. I think Rodrigo, look, in the first half, he was probably the only player that really tried to create something. The problem is that his last decision-making was poor. He would... it's okay to take on 2 or 3 defenders, and then if you get past them, lift your head and try to see where the ball should go next. But, I mean, you can't take 7 players on. It felt like he was trying to finish every play on his own, which I think is a mistake. I think getting past 2 or 3 is good. Attracting other defenders is good. But then you have to raise your head and see what your options are. And Rodrigo didn't do that. He was trying to finish every play on his own, and it was just too much. So I think he tried in the first half, but just kind of deflated as the match went on. When Vini and Jude came on, I thought they were pretty good. I thought they both made an impact, and they looked like good players. I mean, you could tell when they came on the pitch that this was just a slightly different caliber of player. And it looked like they could have created something and scored. They had a couple of chances where they just, made the wrong decision at the very end. But I think Vini and Jude were good, and Brahim was pretty good as well. Look, those are my thoughts on the match. Again, this was just scrappy, unfortunate. It's just one of those games that there's nothing fond to remember. Kylian's red card is problematic. We need to hope he can make it to the final of the Copa del Rey. But this was we just sort of scrapped our way through this match and happened to come away with no injuries and 3 points, which is all I can tell you in terms of positive things. But anyway, those are my thoughts. I will see you guys. Thank you for joining me as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll be back to talk to you guys about the Arsenal match in the next few days. Thanks for joining me as always, and as always, Ala Madrid.